straddle.
Mikey is definitely on Tiltosaurus.
Tilted, I just want to keep the game playing good.
I think Phil was playing a little bit too passively. He had the tendency to just check and call a lot, and when he was limping before the flop, he was playing very weakly. He would often fold to a raise, and then when he called the raise, he would always check to the raiser, and he would frequently fold on the flop. So I hadn't exploited that tendency too much, but I decided to exploit it on the 7-8 offsuit. So I raised, and the best result for me is if he folded before the flop, but I didn't mind when he called because I was going to fire almost every flop. The flop is great for me. I flop an open-ended straight draw. There was a flush draw on board, but that was unlikely to come into play. He's showing a tendency to just call the bets on the flop, so I'm not really worried about him raising me, but the stacks are such that if he does raise me there, I'm gonna just call and peel one off on the turn.
I just looked at him. I looked over and I just knew that I had him. So I called 3,500.
Sing you a song, will I win a pot?
If he has a real hand, it's could be ace king or ace queen. So the turn was an ace, which I hated because in my mind, I didn't really necessarily think that he had complete garbage like a 7-8, but he had. I thought maybe he had some kind of ace rag, maybe ace 10, ace jack. So an ace came, which was horrible for me.
I didn't have any kind of sure read. There was a chance in my mind that he could have had a total monster, so I didn't want to risk betting the turn and getting taken off my hand if he raised. So I just checked behind on the turn, obviously hoping to hit my straight draw. I missed the straight draw, but the river brought the third heart, the king of hearts, and the turn had brought an ace. So given that I thought it was reasonably likely that he had a modest holding and was just sort of making a bit of a screaming call on the flop, I decided it was worth it to take a risk and bluff at it.
He made a big bet, and I mean, there's nothing I can do. I mean, if he had an ace, then he hit an ace. If he had a flush draw, he hit a flush draw. I don't think he would be betting king queen, so the king didn't really concern me. But I thought maybe he had, maybe he had me beat. Okay, buddy, good hand, good play. I don't mind the laydown. I mean, that's just a really tough call there. But it was very frustrating to me, and that was the first time when he showed the 7-8, I said, now I know what he has when he's bluffing.
This game could get really good if you show a bluff. Whee! Yeehaw! Yeehaw!
You play that like world class.
I predicted, see now, I predicted you were gonna, because right now you feel like God, I predicted for them that you'd lose 10 or 15, 20,000, 2 pots, because nobody just wins all day straight. And if I called, my prediction would have been right.
God, apparently.
Yeah, Phil's obviously an easy target. He's always, he'll make a bad play and explain why it was a good play or talk about how bad other people play, and it's just, instead of sitting back and just letting other people talk about how great he is, he's got to do it himself. And, obviously, he just opens himself up to ridicule once he does that.
Does it feel good?
Well, you've won every
How does
pot,
it feel
so.
how does it feel like to bluff Phil, the great one, Hellmuth? That was.
Why are we drinking?
Seizing the moment, Todd Brunson took an opportunity to introduce us to Mini Phil.
Little Phil.
Gotta like that little doll that Todd brought to the table with the Phil Hellmuth logo on his hat, crying all the time. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it was pretty funny. We had fun with that. I don't think Phil Hellmuth cared one bit. I think Phil Hellmuth, he's flattered by it that someone would bring a doll with his logo on it. I think he's flattered. He doesn't mind at all.
I mean, I'm a poker player. You got to have thick skin. You can't. Look. Mike Mattisau's whole deal is to try to put you on tilt. They're talking and they're talking and they're talking, and Todd has a baby and he's trying to be, he has a very dry sense of humor, so he's waiting to really put the needle in. But these needles aren't going to get to me. Come on. They're just. I've been a professional poker player for 25 years. If you can't handle those needles, there's something wrong with you.